Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. How are you guys doing? Here once again for a weird time for a match preview once again. I apologize, it's probably not the ideal time. It's my lunch break from work and I've just tried to be as productive and efficient as I possibly can. So I'll be live with you guys discussing this game. And of course, if you guys also wanna hop in, I'll leave the link in the chat. If you guys want to hop in, of course, please try to have at least a decent phone connection and audio. Don't be like out somewhere in the on the train or the underground or something like that. Just if you can, if you've got a decent, a bit of time and a decent setup, then join me. Because obviously, you guys know what today's going to be all about. Inter versus Roma. It's always a big match. It's always hype around it. But obviously, we know the extra hype around this time around is not just related to Roma. It's not related to Jose coming back as usual, not coming back as usual. But obviously, Romelu Lukaku, aka Lakaka, aka Tim Bukaku, aka Brikaku, once beloved, now not so much. And yeah, I want to hear your thoughts in terms of how you would receive him at the stadium, because obviously we know unless you've been living under a rock, Inter Curva Nord have announced that they will be giving out thousands and thousands of whistles, referee whistles. I don't know if they actually, the reports say 40,000. Like, that must be so expensive. Surely there's not going to be that many being handed out. Surely people can bring their own, but so these whistles are going to be handed out, 40,000 plus, and every time Lukaku is going to touch the ball, he will be receiving these whistles. Very, very reminiscent of the same type of event, or kind of, I want to call it, initiative that Inter fans took against R9 Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo, who went from Real Madrid, moved to AC Milan. He's already on the downward trajectory of his career. Inter fans did a similar thing to R9, and R9, of course, he was R9. He kind of took that quite well and scored against Inter in the derby, and even did this, which he was he's my all-time favorite player. But you definitely have to admit that guy, wasn't he wasn't in love with Inter, clearly, or with Inter fans. You gotta fight back, but in the end though, Inter won that game, so he scored, but Inter won that game, so let's see how it works out against Lukaku. But anyway, before we get into everything, let me quickly give a shout out to everyone that's in the chat. 15 people. That's actually more than I expected at this weird time that I picked as usual. Rico91 says, always confident versus Roma, predict 3-1 win on Sunday. That would be great. That would be perfect. And yeah, if we look back at our recent history against Roma, Rico is right. Melito 1908 in the chat. Christian Potato has made it to live in the middle of the day. Welcome, brother. I'm glad that you could make it. Nene says, I can't wait for the game. Lakaka is going to have a really hard time at the Meazza Forza Inter. Yeah, we'll discuss that in a moment. Ahmad, hope you're doing well, brother. Been a while. It has nice haircut. Thank you. Yeah, I'm switching it up. No more skin fade and short at the top. I'm gonna grow out the top a little bit. It's gonna be like more of a mid-high fade and grow out my hair. I'm gonna try to enjoy what I have left of my hairline for whilst it's there, until my genes get me. My dad is bald. A few of my cousins are bald. I feel like it's part of my it's in my blood. At some point I'm gonna have to embrace it, unless I go to Turkey or something. Team Hams, I've been waiting for this one. Hello Sharma, hello you, brother. Perfect time to catch a live. Yes, Chanel, hope you are doing well. Isn't it weird how Mourinho and Pinto both cuddling Lukaku about this game? Yeah, we'll talk about that, Christian. Very, very weird statements released by Mourinho. Pinto, okay, it makes sense, but Mourinho, I would expect at least him to understand what the actual situation is. My insomnia worked out. Get to catch the preview. Hey, hopefully I'll get to, maybe my ASMR Sharma channel can put you to sleep. Eric G just woke up at 6:30 a.m. The coffee is on. I'm ready for the pre-match. Hey, that's the perfect way. Yeah, that is the perfect timing. I guess, yeah. I guess it's weird timing for Europeans or maybe people in Asia where it might be a bit, just after work time. But maybe, yeah, people on the Americas side, maybe this could be perfect timing before work time and all that kind of stuff. Lukaku is gonna score, isn't he, Lanty Jews? I don't know. Like, I think the whistling is gonna get to him. To be honest, man. I've dropped the link in the chat. By the way, guys, if you are gonna join me and chat about this preview with me, that would be very nice. Somehow, I won't feel bad for Mr. Lukaku. Yeah, I don't feel bad for him at all. Again, the most important thing is when talking about this, or when this will happen, which is 5 p.m. UK time kickoff on Sunday, that the whistling remains whistling. I keep repeating this. Please, anyone attending, do not make any weird noises out of your mouths. Do not bring anything weird, racially charged, anything. Just keep that out, please. I beg of you. I don't want any controversy regarding that. It has to be all whistles and insults to a certain degree that don't get into in a bad light and get into completely banned in terms of stadium bans and fan bans, things like that. So as long as it's maintained to that, yeah, I won't feel bad for Mr. Lukaku at all. And yeah, Nene, thank you for reminding the people before we get into it properly. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hey, Gordo in the house. So excited for the game. Can't wait for Lukaku to get bullied. Yeah, let's see who is going to be doing the bullying. Let's see who's going to be quick match predictions in terms of lineup predictions as well. Who's going to be starting against him? A whistle shouldn't cost less than €4. 4 times 40,000, 160k. That's what I mean. I doubt it that these unless they've told people, because I actually haven't looked at the official Curva Nord statement. I don't know if they said bring your whistles. That makes more sense, but them actually buying them and distributing them, logistically, money wise, that sounds very unrealistic to me. But yeah, I'm sure if I was attending, I'll definitely go out and buy a whistle. It's it's not that deep. For €4 or €5, I'll easily spend that for that enjoyment for 90 minutes of every time Lukaku touches the ball. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, Gordon. My hairline is still healthy. I'm saying I want to enjoy it whilst it is still healthy. I'm just saying I can see the development potentially starting to decrease at some point to get to the DiMarco Barella level. But all I'm saying is that it is good right now. I just want to enjoy it. Getting the husband haircut. Hey, man, you gotta live the character. Gotta embrace the character now. You're gonna start hearing dad jokes as well soon on this channel, probably. Nah, bro, cheap plastic whistle costing less than $1. Yeah, but even then, Ludi scores the Curva Nord, that's even if it's $1, 40,000 plus, times 40,000, as in $1 times 40,000. That's still 40,000. That's crazy money to be spending. Let's stay classy. I mean, yeah, again, come into the chat if you want and join me to discuss this. How would you guys approach this? Culture Ben says, stay classy. I agree. Definitely. I want to be staying classy. But how would you guys do this? I've seen this morning people tweeting that this is doing too much, this whole whistle thing on Lukaku, you're giving him too much importance. Indifference should be the way to approach this. Indifference is the best way to approach and react to a character like Lukaku. And I agree to some extent. I always say this, I don't understand when players leave the club and fans become even more they're almost following him and slandering him regularly. We know Milan fans, when Hakan moved to Inter, it's they were keeping tabs on every game, going on SofaScore and FotMob, checking the ratings, and if it's anything below 6, posting. Or even some Inter fans I've seen that follow Skriniar now and watch every PSG match or try to keep tabs on every PSG match to slander him. It's to me, he's gone indifferent. That's me personally. But when it comes to this Lukaku, I think that the fact that him getting booed, like we know Lukaku, we had him for 2 seasons under Conte, and we had him 1 season under Inzaghi, and then we also used to watch Lukaku, for Belgium in international tournaments. I think him getting booed is actually gonna affect him. We know mentally he's not the strongest guy. He's very emotional. He gets affected by chance. He gets affected by social media. He gets affected by what other players in the game, in the match, are saying to him. He's a reactionary type of guy. We've seen it, and we've seen it. He's done. We've seen like matches where he's gone back when he signed for Man United to Everton, when he was booed, when he returned to Chelsea against with Man United. I think this is the type of player that gets affected by these types of things. So I actually think in this case he's not R9. I use the case of R9 because Inter fans in 2006, 2007, whenever it was, did the same thing to R9 when he returned for AC Milan against Inter in the derby. And he, as I said, scored a sick goal from outside of the box. Where I actually think Julius Caesar was it told, or should have saved it, to be honest. But yeah, it was a good goal. Reacted, with the celebration as well. But Milan lost in the end. But he's not R9, even though that was like, fat R9, and Lukaku usually is fat anyway. But he's not R9. He's not got that type of mentality to be able to take punishment like that on a mental level and react to it. So I think I think it's actually good tactic, and I think it's going to affect him. I think he's going to have a stinker of a game. Hope you're doing well, Giovanni. Hey, Sharif. Hope you are doing well, brother. To be honest, I think there will be some racial abuse. That's the thing. I don't think we can escape it. I mean, I'm laughing, but obviously we shouldn't be laughing. But we know the history of some fans in Italy and how it's handled in Italy. So I wouldn't be shocked if there is some of that controversy. Very, very unfortunately, but yeah. It is what it is. No, I hate that difference bullshit. Let's bully the hell out of him. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Usually I'm on the indifference vibe. Like, if someone comes back, like boo him maybe, the beginning before the match. And yeah, I mean, even booing, like I still like, if you come back, like if you're trying to affect him, so that's fine to me. I'm talking more like, people that are going on watching every single game and trying to like, follow this guy and slander him everywhere. But when it comes to playing against the former team, I'm fully, for booing the hell out of someone. If especially that is going to affect him, like Lukaku. And you saw with Hakan versus Milan, it seems to like get him extra, motivated. Like there's some players where it seems like it hypes them more. Zlatan over the years, I think he used to feed off that as well. Zlatan. Not always like had great performances against Inter like with Milan, but like sometimes he used to have like nice performances. Like it almost seemed like he enjoyed being booed. Like some of these guys, egomaniacs, very narcissistic guys, they like that. Who else? Like Cristiano Ronaldo, Barcelona, Real Madrid, those are classical games. Pretty much everywhere he went, Cristiano, a lot of the times he gets booed or he gets told Messi, and it seems like at times it would get him fired up even more. So there are players where that you should probably think about it and say, like Milan fans, I just wouldn't boo at Hakan at all now because it clearly impacts him in a positive way. But with Lukaku, I definitely think that that it's gonna hit him quite hard. Now let him know, Milan fans, boo Hakan, what he did. It just wasn't really made the club look small. Yeah, no, but I agree. Like at the end of the day, you also have these emotions that you need to let out. Like if you hate the player for what he did, you gotta let it out. But I look at it on an objective basis. Like now, Milan fans surely should know. I mean, enough time has passed on as well. But yeah, Milan fans should know now that clearly Hakan feeds off the boos anyway. His emotions usually dictate his performance. That's why I love the whistle idea. Yeah, exactly, 100%. Love Mumba, can't stand Roma, the snake. Hope we play to our potential. I agree, Rob. Boo, whistle, that's it. Give him his respect. He was fighting for us on the pitch. He's very selfish, cares more about himself. See LeBron comparison, it's over. He made a choice moving on. Yeah, 100% Culture Ben. I agree. I still respect what he did for Inter. Still, I mean, I still am against most fans how they treat Lukaku for the final. I think again, similar to how I think about, indifference, but like completely unaffecting a game like what Dzeko did in the Champions League final. To me, that's worse than what Lukaku did, because Dzeko was on the pitch for what, 50, 60 minutes, and he did absolutely nothing that game. So he wasted almost 50, 60 minutes, apart from, good pressing. But that's it. That's about it. He did absolutely nothing. There was one point where he tried to dribble the ball and went out, of play. Lukaku, he came on, made an impact, created all those chances. Yes, he messed up, and he's probably the reason why we didn't win the game, because we should have won that game in the end with the chances we had. But without Lukaku coming on and making the impact, there was nothing. Lautaro also, wasn't great until Lukaku came on. Until Lukaku came on, that's when things started to change. But yeah, he's cursed as well in finals. There's no way around it. He's definitely got some sort of big game final curse, that guy, that he just can't shake off. And yeah, he usually is in big games. He does usually struggle. Usually against Milan, he was good, but against Juve and Champions League games to Inter, he wasn't really that good at all. And that's his career trajectory in general. And yeah, I mean, I spoke about it briefly at the beginning, but let's cover it. I mean, Mourinho, I really don't understand. I mean, Mourinho is one of the most intelligent, especially in communication style. His emotional intelligence is probably the best we've ever seen in the game. So him coming out with these comments is really baffling to me, which obviously he's protecting Roma, protecting his player. But here it just seems like he doesn't understand what the actual situation is. Like, he says, Lukaku to Roma is a drama, yet Çalhanoğlu to Inter is a brilliant signing. So let's go into his actual quote. So he says, Lukaku will play. It'll be a very difficult, important match. Lukaku is important with us and without Dybala, which is important. We'll get into the predicted lineups. There's no Dybala and no Pellegrini. That's great. So he goes in and says, I didn't think Lukaku was so important in Milan. The titles he won with that team and were won by more than 200 players in the history of Inter. So he's saying that Lukaku is just any other player in the history of prestigious club like Inter. Mourinho also argued that Lukaku's transfer from Inter to Roma is considered a drama, while Çalhanoğlu moving from Milan to Inter seen as a brilliant signing. Cannavaro, Vieri made similar moves, but there were no problems. Like, this is completely missing the point from Mourinho. We don't care about Lukaku moving to Roma. Like, we ain't got a rivalry with Roma, bro. Like, you can sign our players if you want. You can sign, any of our ex-players if you want to sign them. If you want to get Perisic, you can sign them. If you want to sign, Brozovic, like now from Saudi Arabia, go ahead, bro. Like, we don't care. If we don't have a beef with Roma, that's not the issue. The beef is with Lukaku, how he behaved in the summer, how clearly he created a divide within the dressing room where, these guys, Lautaro, Di Marco, clearly have come out and said, it played out exactly how the newspaper said, negotiating with Milan if it's true, negotiating with Juventus if it's true. That's what the issue is. We don't give a F about Lukaku moving to Roma. You guys can have him. And again, I still respect him as a player. And he's got like 13 goals in 14 games already this season. He's always going to put up numbers, Lukaku. That's what he does. And that's why I was in favor of bringing him back last season. Of course, it didn't work out as well as it should have because of his injury. But he's a good player. But that's not the issue, isn't that? So I don't know why. Of course, Mourinho is trying to, protect him, coddle him, whatever. But it shows a bit of lack of understanding from Mourinho here for some reason. And then the other thing, which Mourinho has also said, is the fact that he keeps really putting. I mean, at this point, I don't think he's even putting pressure on Inter and Inzaghi anymore. Clearly, that's his opinion, that he thinks Inter are really strong. So he says Inter should win Serie A by 20 points. And he used to say similar stuff last season and in the first season at Inter. Like, clearly, he really likes Inter squad, because he always praises Inter squad and depth, even last season. And then he also maybe is a bit salty that Inter didn't call him back when there were rumors that, it was between Mourinho and Conte when Inter signed Conte, and then obviously Marotta went for Conte. and there's rumors that he's still feeling salty about the fact that Inter didn't call him back, and now he's having to fight for Europa League spots and things like that at Roma. He's never been happy with the squad at Roma. He's always moaning about the squad at Roma. So, well, yeah, first of all, like, obviously he's not gonna be at the game. Oh, he's gonna be at the game, but he's not gonna be on the bench for the game on Sunday, because once again, as he has often been doing this since he's come back to Roma, he's been getting himself sent off a lot. I don't know if Mattia is here. Mattia, boy, he was insinuating that Mourinho got himself sent off on purpose, which, like, I don't blame him, because I think it's only been like one time I think Mourinho's actually been on the bench for this Inter Roma game, because he always seems to get himself sent off before it. But he denies it completely. He says, sorry for talking negatively, but there are idiots saying the kind of things that only an idiot could say. Because of people saying that he did it on purpose. And then it's even more idiotic when someone from the world of football says it. I'm the coach of Roma. I want to be there with my team when we play. Unfortunately, what happened in the last minute against Monza happened. The thing that I regret is that I won't be able to be with my players. We're playing against a team who should, in my view, win the title with a 20-point advantage. So, of course, to play against them, we'll have to be at our best. Allegri says it as well. Every time Allegri is asked about Inter, he's always talking about, Inter are the best team. They should be winning the title. They're the favorites. So I don't know if there's Mourinho, Allegri are definitely more mind game type of coaches. Inzaghi, we know he doesn't play mind games. He's very, straightforward, very diplomatic, very gentleman-like. Whereas Mourinho and Allegri try to, pull some chords and strings here and there. But now we're at the third year of Mourinho saying this, so clearly this is his opinion. He clearly thinks this Inter team is far and away the best team in Italy, and clearly doesn't like his own team. But yeah, again, with Mourinho, I know some people view him still with like rose-tinted glasses. Of course, he's always going to be our legend. He's definitely going to be like one of my favorite coaches of all time. I still love him, but you gotta know these guys are professional. This guy gets paid 7 million a year net by Roma. He's one of the highest paid coaches in Europe still. He wouldn't think twice about going to Juve if they came up, if Milan came up. Like, I know he throws like nice words at us. He still has some sort of love for Inter for sure. I think he always will, and we will always for him as well. But these guys are professionals. He wouldn't blink twice before going to teams like Juve and our rivals. So I understand that people still hold him and view him in that rose-tinted glasses, but Mourinho is he knows how to say the right things. He's similar to Lukaku in that sense. He knows how to say the right things, but when push comes to shove, if there's an offer on the table, ask Chelsea fans, ask Man United fans, Chelsea fans, that should be the team really that he's got the most connection with. He's spent the most time there, but he didn't think twice when Spurs came calling. So yeah, I have a feeling there will be probably some Uomo di Merda chance. Yeah, I mean that will be which means man of SHIT, which doesn't really translate well in English, but it's a very common chant for Italian fans. So that's pretty much a given. This isn't going to be an affiliate. Yeah, of course, this is his former home, Lukaku. So nothing unfamiliar. I feel like Ramos is that type of player as well. Oh yeah, going back to the guys that get hyped from being booed. My main issue with Lukaku is fumbling it in big finals. Yeah, 100%. That's his history, the history of Tottenham, or the history of Lukaku, as Chiellini would say. Mu is just deflecting. Shams, he knows better. Yeah, exactly. It's deflection tactics, or trying to, protect Lukaku a little bit, which is obviously his main player now. So he definitely needs to be doing that. I am also worried about Nadir. I just hope, they won't be idiots on Sunday. Mu understands just deflecting some hate onto himself to ease Romelu. Yeah, that's Mourinho is one of the best in the world at doing that, for sure. Mourinho knows exactly what he's doing. He's deflecting 100%. Also, don't forget that Lukaku pretty much screws us from his transfer window. He put us in a difficult position. Yeah, again, that's also another reason that, it's multiple reasons why, Inter fans are mad at Lukaku, and it's definitely not Roma Mourinho. Shout out to Marotta and Ozil. They did an excellent job recovering from the Lukaku situation. Yeah, true, but I think it could have been done better. Like, there should have been other alternatives, and in the end, going for Arnautovic was really, really the only guy that you could go afterwards. Thuram was already signed, so that was a great signing already. But afterwards, Sanchez, Arnautovic, I still think we could have done better in that sense. But yeah, they did handle it well, and I thought it did take a while for that to be sorted out, in my opinion. But in the end, yeah, they did pretty good with the situation. Hey, Ian, hope you're doing well. Bring on Whistlegate. Yeah, everyone is ready. Everyone is ready. I wonder if anyone's going to be having their whistles at home. Like, if you're watching this from home and you're still going to have your whistle out, that's going to be funny. Mourinho's really good against offensive teams. He's going to park the bus. Yeah, of course. I mean, he parks the bus against small teams, so of course he's going to park the bus against Inter. Whether he's good against big teams, I mean, yeah, it's mixed. He's definitely done a better job than Fonseca used to do at Roma in terms of big teams, big games. But, against Inter, since he's come back, his record is pretty poor, to be honest. I mean, we'll take a look in a moment. You can boo Lukaku for being the snake without being a moronic racist, 100%. Nadir. Moore, I want to be my boy, just not against Inter, lol. Yeah, I'm sure. There's definitely still some love there deep down. I'll watch this game tomorrow. I'm going to say 3-1 Inter. It's on Sunday, actually, Brad. So it's on Sunday at 5 p.m. UK time. I'm going to San Siro for the first time ever. Hey, look at that, Ahmed. Whistle extra hard for all of us in this chat right now. There's 39 of us, and of course there will be people watching this afterwards. Give an extra loud whistle from all of us in this community for Lukaku. At the end, we'll have our second star. I hope so, Ben. I hope so. We should have gone Scamacca. Yeah, even the Scamacca thing, Inter decided that whatever West Ham were asking for in the end was a little bit too much. They didn't want to get into a bidding war with Atalanta. And I get it. If you're not fully convinced by Scamacca, and if Inzaghi wasn't fully convinced, I get it. But that would have also ruined our... Then we wouldn't have no Pavard, Tara. Pavard wouldn't be here if we got Scamacca for 30+ million. So in the end, I'm glad we didn't get him if it meant Pavard, but I meant finding other nicer alternatives around the 10 to 15 million price mark. I know Taremi was long negotiation as well, but Porto wouldn't budge. So I think there could have been some better alternatives instead of Arnautovic in the end. I'm in Seoul right now, but I believe I'm going to be being in my screen at 1 a.m. here when Lukaku shows up. Yeah, you're going to have to do some silent whistling if you're with family, Michele. Like, in your heart, you're booing him real hard. Barella Masterclass tomorrow. It's on Sunday. Hopefully. Yeah, I mean, let's get into it. Let's get into the match preview now. Actually, before we get into match preview, quickly, I want to cover, obviously, Inter released their financial statement yesterday, had their conference call and press conference to announce the results. And one thing I quickly want to cover is Steven Zhang. He tuned in via conference call, so he was in China. He's still not in Italy. He hasn't been in Italy this season yet. The rumors of there's Investcorp or whoever's in negotiations or interested in Inter. I don't know. Once again, Suning added another person into the board, like the directors, shareholders, or director team, so to say. A lady, I forgot her name now, but a lady that works for Suning has been added into the Inter directors board. So another Suning person coming into the board. That doesn't sound like them wanting to sell. And then Steven Zhang's statements themselves, I will give my all for these colors as long as I'm president. And yeah, the other day, I think yesterday actually, he reached 5 years as Inter president, his anniversary as Inter president. He covered a few things about sporting results, the Saudi Pro League becoming a new competition, financially, the new FIFA Club World Cup, which Inter, if they qualify from the group stage, will be part of from 2025 as well. or promising star, new deals with Nike and Paramount Plus, all that kind of stuff. But then he said, yeah, I can promise you that in these 5 years as president and in the almost 8 years since we took over the club, I have given all my love and dedication to this club. As long as I'm president of Inter, I'm proud to have steered Inter in a positive direction together with all of our staff and players. Inter is now once again one of the top clubs in Europe, representing millions of people around the world. Winning is always our priority. We will fight to earn that second star for our fans and enter into the history books of this club forever. Thank you, and I'll see you soon at San Siro to cheer on our Inter together. Forza Inter. That does not look like the statements of a man that's about to sell the club or looking to sell the club, to be honest. And once again, we are pushing, and that oak tree loan expiry gets closer and closer. I think it's May 2024. So I think he is going to have to sell, but it doesn't look like, his actions, his words, his statements. It doesn't look like of a guy who wants to sell. I don't know. Once again, I don't know what's going to happen. People can bring up all types of rumors and reports, but the fact is, we're still here 2 years later. We talked about, it was a BC Partners 2 years ago when they offered around 600-700 million for Inter, and now we're here 2 years later when they're talking about InvestCorp. We're still under the ownership of Suning. So whoever these YouTubers and guys that you follow, they're telling you about PIF and Saudis coming, these guys buying, clearly it hasn't happened. And so priority should be paying is that. Yeah, it's funny because we also talk in the financial statement, we talked about we have sued. We've opened a lawsuit against Zitara Labs, the people that own the digital bits, those people that never paid our money, 25-30 million that they owe us. So we've opened a lawsuit against them. But it's funny that at the same time, Zhang has multiple lawsuits against him at the moment ongoing about some debts that he owes some companies. Funny. I hope it's not Wanda coming in. No. It's this Chinese lady. I forgot her name. It's going to be hard for Inter to cover the Oak Tree loan without refinancing. That is going to be hard for the Zangs. Yeah, again, the loan, Rob, is not on Inter. It's not Inter covering the Oak Tree loan. It's Suning and Zhang cover it. So they need to repay it back. Yeah, it's a really difficult situation. I don't see how they're going to get out of it. You think we're making signings in January? Nope, I do not think, unless it's some sort of free transfer or loan. I don't see any signings being made. Suning are looking to refinance that loan by using other loans with other companies. Oak Tree have started a case against it. Yeah, there's rumors that's not been confirmed yet about that Oak Tree themselves are suing Suning. But yeah, Zhang said it in after the Champions League final that he wants to refinance the loan. But again, that already, this loan from Oak Tree was what, 11%, 12% interest, which is crazy high for a 275 million loan. So the next refinance is going to be even higher percentage. So they can just keep kicking the can down the road, like they just keep delaying the inevitable. No, so it's not Fly Emirates. It will be. It looks like it could be Qatar Airways. So Qatar Airways are going to become a minor sponsor already from this season. I think from the Frosinone game, we'll start seeing them as part sponsors. I think minor, maybe. I don't know if they're on the patch or they're just going to be on the website and on the stadium and stuff like that. But it's going to be Qatar Airways. Again, there's rumors, not confirmed yet, but it looks like they because the Paramount Plus deal is only for 1 year, and then from next year they become the main sponsors. Fingers crossed, because that will definitely be a lot more money than Paramount Plus, which was confirmed in the financial statements. They're only paying us 11 million euros for this 1 year, which is awful deal. Plus bonuses, like we don't know. That's the thing. We don't know how much the bonus is. I hope there's some like very big bonuses and all related to like Champions League qualification and maybe Scudetto, taking it maybe to close 20 million. But still, 11 million base is really, really bad from Paramount Plus, and I'm sure Qatar Airways would be much more than that. Shout out from Tunisia. Hey Shadi, hope you're doing well. Actually, Besisa here is also Tunisian, so Tunisia gang in the house. And yeah, Qatar Airways, like aesthetically, looks quite nice as well. But anyway, let's get into the match preview. We spent half an hour talking about Lukaku plus, Steven Zhang and stuff like that. So let's get into the match preview for tomorrow. I'll say tomorrow as well now. You guys have brainwashed me. It's on Sunday, 6 p.m. Italy time. This is the predicted lineup from Sky Sport Italy. What do you guys think? What changes would you make to it? So it looks like back to the lineup that we had against Torino, isn't it? Apart from Darmian started against Torino instead of Dumfries. This looks like, and Acerbi coming in for De Vrij. Again, there'll probably be more accurate predicted lineup tomorrow, but unfortunately I'm doing this preview 2 days before because I'm going to be away tomorrow, so I'm doing it today. But yeah, of course, we know Mkhitaryan is the unmovable object in Inzaghi's starting 11, as is Çalhanoğlu. I think right now the main doubts is between Barella and Frattesi. Gazzetta actually has Frattesi starting over Mkhitaryan, which I just don't see happening at all. I don't see Mickey being taken out, first of all, and I don't see him being taken out for Frattesi for sure. And they also have Darmian starting instead of Pavard, which I disagree with. But they also have Acerbi. One thing, in speaking of Lukaku, who would you have? Would you have Acerbi or De Vrij? So, because the central of the three is going to be probably the guy marking Lukaku a lot. He's probably going to drift out towards Bastoni a lot as well. We know Lukaku obviously likes to cut in with his left foot. So it's going to be this area here that's going to manage Lukaku. But in my opinion, I'm happy with Acerbi. Physically, it doesn't make sense. Like you would think, like, because Acerbi, he's kind of a little bit thinner, probably a bit slower than De Vrij. Like looks-wise, you wouldn't think that Acerbi is the perfect matchup. But actually, the way Acerbi manages playing against big strikers, we've seen it, like the way he manages to play against Haaland, when he plays against Lewandowski, or when he plays against Harry Kane for Italy, Osimhen. We've seen like Acerbi is smarter when it comes to handling these guys. Giroud, like De Vrij always really struggles against Giroud against Milan, whereas Acerbi usually handles him better. So I think Acerbi, even though physically it's probably a mismatch, I think De Vrij is probably a bit stronger physically than Acerbi, and probably if he goes, if it's like a 50-50 or shoulder to shoulder, I would probably trust De Vrij over Acerbi. But on all the other, ways of playing, being smarter, being, reading the game, maybe just sneaking in, a little toe to intercept Lukaku, I think Acerbi is going to do that job a bit better. And it seems like all you guys are saying the same. Michele, Besisa, Nene, everyone's saying Acerbi. Frattesi reminds me of Ozil. Oh, that is an awful comparison. Frattesi has nowhere near the vision and the technique and the, flair of a guy like Ozil. I don't really see where you get that comparison from. Lineup looks good. Just that Frattesi should start. Yeah, I mean, I would again. Frattesi is a Roma boy. He's a Roman. Grew up supporting Roma. And if Roma were able to do the same offer as Inter did to Sassuolo, he probably would have chosen Roma. So he's a Roman boy at heart. So he's gonna have a bit of extra motivation in this game. So yeah, I wouldn't be against starting Frattesi, and especially with Roma, they're gonna defend quite deep. So we're gonna need someone to make some runs in behind the Roma defense to kind of stretch them and provide something different. But at the same time, if Roma are going to sit back, we need our most technical midfield, and our most technical midfield is these three: Mkhitaryan, Hakan, and Barella. That's the midfield currently that we have that's going to keep the ball the best. Our most three technical midfielders at the moment. Of course, after Brozovic left, this is our most technical three that we have. If Inter are going to have 55-60% possession of the ball, it kind of makes sense to have this midfield. But the way that Frattesi has been playing and the way that Barella has been playing in terms of form, energy levels, I would put in Fratesi, in my opinion. No matter who wrong plays, he will get kicked. That's one thing I want to see. Like, is he gonna get that treatment of, like, when you've seen sometimes when you play against former players and the players going extra hard? Is it going to be like that? Like, is there some sort of lingering negative feeling from some of the Inter players that they're going to leave their foot in on Lukaku? That's going to be interesting to see. And the other way as well. Like, is Lukaku going to be extra, going into these shoulder barges with some extra vim, some slide tackles with extra anger or something? That's what I'm interested to see. No, Cuadrado is still injured. Cuadrado and Arnautovic actually are our two only injuries at the moment, as you can see here. Ian Kerr confirming that as well. So squad-wise, we're looking pretty good. Pretty much everyone available, everyone in decent shape. So I'm happy with this lineup. But the only change maybe I would make, it's Fratesi. On the other hand, with Roma, they've got a few injury issues at the moment. Most notably, Dybala. Of course, he's the guy who scored against us last time in this exact fixture, if you guys remember. But that, Handanovic should have shaved that. Pellegrini is also out. So the captain is out, Pellegrini, and their best player is out, Dybala. So two massive losses, and of course the big summer signing on loan, Renato Sanchez, is also out. Tammy Abraham is out for ages because of ACL, Kumbulla as well. So they've got some big missing players. Looks like Smalling. I mean, it says Smalling's on the bench here. Let's see what Gazzetta says. Yeah, so Smalling's also not fully fit, so that's a big miss as well. So at the back, it's not the starting three that they would want. Llorente is decent, but again, someone that I can definitely see Thuram and Lautaro taking advantage of. Paredes, Cristante, Aouar midfield is nice, pretty technical, but not too much of athleticism in there, not too much of lateral movement and ability to cover spaces there, in my opinion. So they're definitely, I think, going to sit back. And then up front, Belotti, Lukaku, two battering rams. So it's going to be, whoever starts at the back, they're going to come out of this game with some bruises, with some, they're going to feel tired because Belotti is going to run and hustle the whole game. And Lukaku, of course, is going to be backing into guys with his big booty, back into whoever's going to be marking him. So it's going to be, for the centre backs, it's going to be quite an intense game in terms of that. But good lineup from Roma, but nothing, nothing crazy. Decent lineup. Of course, you got to watch out for Spinazzola's runs from wide. Sometimes they play El Shaarawy as a wing back as well. He comes in and makes an impact into the game. Zalewski also comes in, makes an impact sometimes. Azmoun, striker option up front as well, Iranian boy. But it's a good team. Of course, we know the weakness of the team. Rui Patricio, really, he's on that Handanovic phase of his career right now, where I don't know how he's still the starting goalkeeper for Roma. They need to be getting someone better. We should be taking advantage of that. Dumfries Spinazzola should be a good battle. That'll be a good battle. Christensen, I don't really know too much about him. He was a loan signing, I believe, in the summer from Leeds. Don't really know too much about him. But hopefully Di Marco can take advantage of him being still new to this league. Is there any much difference here from Gazzetta? Gazzetta has pretty the exact same lineup. Aouar is one to watch out. Of course, he picks up nice little spaces in between the lines. He's a creative little player. I would have liked Inter to sign on a free transfer. I would have not lost sleep if we signed, guys like Aouar and Kamada on a free instead of Fratesi and, spend money elsewhere. But that's just me. I'm also happy with Fratesi signing. It's not saying I wouldn't have signed him. It just was a bit expensive. But in terms of recent games against Roma, we, especially at home, we pretty much kicked their ass. It was just last season where they played us at the beginning of the season, similar time, 1st of October. Now we're on the 27th of October, but we were really struggling at that beginning of the season last year. Remember, we were conceding a lot. Handanovic was still starting for us. Inzaghi took too long to integrate Onana there. So we lost that game. Di Marco scored a nice goal, but again, Rui Patricio, massive mistake. But apart from that, you can see, especially under Mourinho, we've been kicking their ass. 3-1, 2-0 to us. Even in the Coppa Italia, we beat them. Even away, we've been beating them. So it's always a tricky one when I think about it. But then when I look at our recent history against Roma, we've been pretty much kicking their ass. Agree that we rested Thuram, Di Marco, Acerbi, yeah, 100%. Good rotation from Inzaghi in midweek. Roma did go strong in the lineup. Let's have a quick look, actually. The lineup they put out last night. I know Lukaku played because he scored. But I'm pretty sure they pretty much put the starting lineup out last night. Well, the goalkeeper, they rotated. But yeah, back three is the same that is predicted to be against Inter. Cristante, Zalewski, Aouar, Lukaku. It's a pretty strong lineup from them. And then Belotti, Paredes played, Casdo played. So yeah, they also had they'll have 1 day less rest compared to us. So yeah, I think we should have this. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to leave your predictions down below. We're finishing up now. I need to get back to work. My lunchtime is over. And of course, this is a really, really important weekend, guys. We have to win because Milan will be playing Napoli. Who's actually home? Let's just put in Serie A fixtures. We've got, of course, us. We're playing Roma. Juve are playing Verona. Should they probably get 3 points? So we have to get 3 points. Oh, Napoli at home against Milan. So yeah, potentially an opportunity to create some gap between us and Milan or Juve. So very, very important weekend for us. Very, very important weekend. Lazio playing Fiorentina. So a couple of the big teams are playing against each other. So it's really important that you get a nice start to create a nice little gap, continue the positive momentum that we're building up, and get the 3 points. It's a must. So Besisa is saying 3-0 Inter. Yeah, I think it's one of those games where I think it could be, if we score early, I think it could be one of those games that we really could kill Roma. I really do see it. I either see Roma really frustrating us and completely nullifying us, and we don't have the answers for Mourinho's terrorism. But at the same time, I never really predict big wins on this channel, but I honestly see this as a potential, because of the emotions involved in this game and the way that the crowd is going to be, the Lukaku situation and everything. I really see this turning into maybe an end-to-end type of match. So I see, I'm seeing a 3-1 Inter as well. I'm seeing maybe 1 goal, and it'll be hilarious if there's Lukaku scoring against us. Perla plays 2-1 to Roma. But yeah, I'm seeing a potentially high-scoring game, a 3-1, 2-0. Ian says, yeah. I'm seeing something I'm going to go for 3-1 Inter. I'm going to go 3-1 Inter. I think Frattesi will score if he comes off the bench. Maybe Barella returning to scoring if he starts. We need Barella to return to scoring, and I think Lautaro to continue his goal-scoring form as well. Yeah. I think it's going to be a great match. For neutrals, I think it's going to be a great match. Or it could be really awful because of Mourinho's tactics. I think there's no in between. I think there's no in between in this one. It's going to be either a cracker or an absolute stinker. I don't know if you guys tuned into Juve versus Milan last weekend. That was an awful game. Awful advertisement for Italian football. So yeah, Barella, Bastoni, the hated boys. Why are they the hated boys? They're the most loved boys. They're the the boys that the whole fan base loves, and no one can criticize them because they're the Italian Interisti. Barella's only really now starting to face criticism because of his form. Barella goal, Lauti brace, Lukaku goal in 3-1. Okay. Lukaku hat-trick, my goodness. I'll have to close the channel if that happens. That'd be la merda, like watching paint dry. Yeah, it really was. It really, really was awful. I only watched like a little bit of it, but it was awful. But yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that pre-match stream. Yeah, we covered all the main points. Lukaku, Steven Zhang, Suning, Serie A weekend up ahead. It's really, really important. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's see if the reaction is going to be as bad or as good as we expect from Lukaku. Yeah, we do seem to have Roma's number for sure. Let's see if Lukaku is going to celebrate like this against us, or even in a worse way, or we're going to celebrate in his face. I want to see, actually, are they going to shake his hand like Lautaro? I mean, he unfollowed him on Instagram. I'm sure, like, yeah, I don't think he's that petty not to shake someone's, like, you don't shake someone's hand when it's like, you know, Maxi Lopez, Icardi situation, or, you know, John Terry, Wayne Bridge, all that kind of stuff, like Patrice Evra, Luis Suarez. Like, we're talking about like proper stuff, you know, personal things. This is, you know, a guy didn't pick up your phone when, you know, negotiated with the rival team. Like, obviously not good, but I'm sure they're all, you know, shake each other's hands. It should be fine. But yeah, looking forward to watching it, seeing it, see you, of course, for the post-match reaction on Sunday, guys. See you soon. Ciao ragazzi, Forza Inter. Make sure you do your fantasy teams as well. Serie A kicks off today. Genoa, Salernitana. So make sure you do your fantasy teams as well for fantasy Serie A. Ciao ragazzi, Forza Inter. Second star mission continues. Ciao.